I have a question. How have you been fed by grace? I've been fed by grace through a long-time membership in this congregation and the former predecessor covenant. Because of this, I'm encouraged to live in ways that serve God's purposes. I was born in Pennsylvania. My parents were Presbyterians. My mother a deacon, my father a deacon, and then an elder and clerk. I was a deacon at that church. Years later, back in 1979, I was transferred to Alabama by the company I was working for. I come down here by myself, bought a house, had the house furnished. In September of 79, my wife, 4 children, the youngest being 2 weeks old, flew down here to a house fully furnished. We hunted for several weeks for a Presbyterian congregation. We came to this church, and it felt like family. I'd never felt that way before, even in my former church. Everybody here fell in love with me and my family. All my children were members of this church. They all went through confirmation. They all have their own families now and their own church families. Shortly after I joined this church, I was asked to join Building and Grounds Committee, which I've been on since '79. Still a member. I've been on session on many different occasions. I've been chairman of Building and Grounds, and I love this church. This church has done a whole lot for me. Back in '88, my son was killed. This church loved it. They came. They helped us. They did all they could to encourage us. They were family to me and my family. Last year, when my wife died, the same thing. This church is still family. And because of that, I just am encouraged and empowered to live in other ways that I can serve God. I tithe to this church. I have for as long as I've been here. But there are other ways you can tithe. This being stewardship season, I ask all of you to search your hearts in ways that you can feed grace. There are many ways to do it. Think about it. You can usher. You can serve as a liturgist or a welcome. You can serve communion. You can join all the committees in the church. You can help Grace, Table of Grace. You can help Meals on Wheels. There are so many ways to do it. Yes, stewardship season is asking for your commitments, and we ask all of you to seek through your heart what you can do to commit. During this stewardship season, I encourage all of you, feed grace as best that you can do, because grace is how it's going to support your living and your ways to serve God. Thank you, and God bless.